So let's segue into now international exposure.
I saw them on Twitter back and forth.
As a Nigerian who has international exposure, and
in it,
they were slewing us on the timeline. Shout out to Jack.
Subbing.
They were subbing all of us with international exposure. I don't think it was all of us. I think it was people who think like that.
They're better than the ones in Nigeria.
If you're watching on YouTube, the tweets will be on your screen. But for those of you on SoundCloud and iTunes, you just have to listen. So Afro7, she has a podcast called The Spot. It's a it's a good podcast. I listen to it on occasion. But anyway, she went on Twitter a couple of days ago and said the following. I hope you understand what she said. Basically, she said, Oyibo man don't leave us behind, far, far behind. See, it's a deep shame and we are our own obstacle. Because I'm obsessed with Nigeria, I see our failure in even mundane things. Sigh. Nigerians, you people need to let us who've lived in a working system take charge of that country. Hold on.
Ouch.
Hold on.
Okay.
International exposure is a prerequisite. I'm convinced that there's no way a Nigerian who hasn't lived and worked in the first world can change that country. Nigeria fosters a stunted imagination, rewards mediocrity and anti-intellectualism, much to our detriment.
Our own detriment.
Now, also, apparently she had said that Dogara is the Speaker of the House of Reps, speaks good English, and she wonders if he's a Northerner. So I don't know if that doesn't. I just found that interesting and I wanted to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway,
going on.
What she said now, the latter. Where did she, what? Let me.
The last one.
The part where she says the main gist is Nigerians, you people who need to let us who have lived. Now, this is not the first time, and it's not like I'm dissing anybody. If you want to take it as a diss, take it as a diss. This is not the first time she's saying something like this. There had been an earlier tweet, I can't remember verbatim, but she said to the effect of, she wishes the white man hadn't left Nigeria because if you look at South Africa, they have these beautiful buildings and blah, 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 blah. This whole thing was extremely condescending in my opinion. The words, you people need to let us run that country, that itself triggered a lot of people. And I can see why. If you claim to be obsessed with your country, you will not refer to it as that country. Whenever I talk about Nigeria, I say our country because it's us. We are Nigerians. You cannot make an us versus them with this.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot put yourself on top of people and want to talk down to them because you've lived in a functioning society. Because you've hung around Oyibo people. Like, what the fuck? That just screams condescension. And it reflects in the things you say because you feel as though the white man is better than us. That is not the real problem. The real problem is people, leaders and followers are in cahoots and thrive off a system that is rotten. How you solve that is not because you live in the first world. Because if you had given some thought, you would have said, our previous finance minister, she worked at the World Bank, she lived outside. Our current finance minister lived in the UK. Our current Minister of Foreign Affairs lived in America. Our current Minister of State for Petroleum lived abroad. Several ministers you can name have lived outside of Nigeria. Just because you live outside of Nigeria does not mean you know how to change it. You can come back and be just like everybody else, just as bad.
Mm-hmm.
There are Nigerians who haven't left the country that hold Nigeria to a higher standard than you that is even outside. Just because you've lived there, there's nothing, and even you saying it's a prerequisite. Living abroad is not a prerequisite. It's an advantage, yes. It's an advantage, yes, but it doesn't mean like you're better than everybody. And I think that was the main thing that people took offense with. And I understand that. If you're saying, we need to learn from, like Henry said, you need to be smart. When you say things, no matter how you say them, you need to be smart. If you had said something, like, I'm not telling you what to say. If it were me, I'd be like, we need to learn. We need to go out and we need to learn how do different countries go. And you don't even need to go to Oyibo country. You need to go somewhere like Rwanda, somewhere like Senegal. Let me talk about Senegal because I'm half Senegalese. You go to Senegal, the problem we have, one of the problems in Nigeria is we complain about ethnicity and how that overshadows the sense of nationalism.
Mm-hmm.
In Senegal is very multicultural. However, you go there, you don't feel religion and you don't feel ethnicity.
They divide there.
You don't feel that divide. Everybody is Senegalese. You don't even hear them talk about. You don't even hear them talk about. We can talk about Singapore, but you don't hear them even talk about tribe. It's not a matter of living in white country. It's a matter of having.
But white men couldn't teach you how to be united though, because they don't have different cultures. Like they've never been brought up in a.
They do, but the problem is not the white man or the black man. The problem is the essence of Nigeria. What do we as Nigerians want? When we know what we as Nigerians want, then we can have a goal for Nigeria. That is why I asked Henry, what do you think a Nigerian is? To him, a Nigerian is someone who keeps having faith in Nigeria no matter how many times Nigeria fails him. To me, I don't think Nigeria can fail you. You can fail Nigeria. That's why I tell you.
Yeah, that's right. People.
That's why my thinking of a Nigerian is someone who doesn't give up. Nigerians won't give up. Nigerians will keep going till the end. That's my concept of a Nigerian.
Of being a Nigerian.
Now, when you have that, you enshrine principles of nationalism from birth. You tell them, this is Nigeria, this is your flag, this is your history as a Nigerian.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to talk now about tradition, you don't segregate tradition. You don't say, we'll teach you, if you're Hausa, go and learn about Hausa. If you're Igbo, go and learn about Igbo. No. Everybody needs to learn about all our culture. That fosters integration because you know about these people, how these people behave. But if you say, no, you're Igbo, don't learn about the Hausa people. You're Hausa, we have our own version of the Civil War. The Civil War, we haven't addressed it. There are countries like Rwanda who have addressed their civil war problems and as such are able to move past it. We can't move past our civil war because everybody has a different version of events.
Wasn't the UN involved in the whole addressing of the issue?
Which issue?
Trying to reunite people in Rwanda. Rwandan genocide.
Rwanda is different because
they had the elders sit down and talk to the people. Well, the UN actually helped.
The UN doesn't do anything.
No, but they actually did that.
The UN doesn't do anything.
Yeah, they don't do much, but in that scenario, they did something.
Why Rwanda is, and why I keep telling you there should be one word, is because you have one person who helms everything.
And how did Rwanda become like that?
Because he was the one fighting the war and he won.
What?
Paul Kagame. He was the one leading the resistance against the Rwanda government at the time.
What were the two different ethnicities?
Hutu and Tutsis.
Yeah, there we go. It's coming back to me now.
Paul Kagame, a lot of people would say that he is responsible for millions of deaths and is also, responsible for the conflict between Congo and Rwanda. Even Congo now is facing its own problems of leadership because Joseph Kabila doesn't want to leave power. He wants to have another term. And now there are protests there. So when you have one man who has a good vision, look at Singapore. One man who had a good vision. This is what Singapore is.
So if a home for everybody. This, you're out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. A home for everybody. Everybody is Singaporean. And that is one man. Yeah. So there's no diversion of visions. There's no conflict. That's why you see America has this sort of conflict because there are two Americas. Yes. There's white America and black America. There's conservatives and there's liberals. There's Democrats and Republicans.
But again, let's look at Singapore being small. It was easier to implement.
It's not a matter of size. It's a matter of, because you can argue Singapore has multiple nationalities within it. It has the Chinese, has the Malay, it has the Indians. But Lee Kuan Yew was like, you're all Singaporean.
Yeah.
You see, even you don't like being called Indian.
No, I don't.
You like being called Singaporean. Yeah. But you go to Nigeria, some people don't like being called Nigerian. They want you to call them Hausa or Igbo or Yoruba.
And some people want them to be called Nigerians and not Hausa. Like
You're Nigerian first. That's what my parents always tell me.
Yeah.
You're Nigerian first. That's why you see me. I put the flag in my video. You're proud.
Remember that guy who was like, "Why does he have a Nigerian?"
Because you're proud of your country.
No, I just had to bring it up.
Yeah. Because you're proud of your country.
Course.
You enshrine that principle of nationalism. This is Nigeria. Then Nigeria will move forward. It's not a matter of international exposure or local exposure. Because both of them can be corrupt and fuck up the system. From what she said...
She's full of shit.
Okay, you can say that. But from what she said, she didn't think it through. If she had thought it through, she would have said, wait, let me think. How many people who have lived outside of Nigeria have run things? This. Okay, my hypothesis is wrong. I should calm down. You think things through sometimes.